Thank you so much, Sbu. So yes, I shared this with you, so you have an idea of what we will be discussing today. Just like I was saying earlier, I wanted to start with like those gratitude remarks, basically just saying thank you to all of you for all of your hard work. And thank you also for putting in the time to find new people that are going to be your successors for next year. I've met with a lot of them actually, and they seem like a really good group of people that, you know, are ready to take on this work and make sure that, you know, your legacies are not just thrown out the window and, you know, things just get lost. So I'm really grateful for the work that you've put in. Looking forward to celebrating with you today. And what I'm going to share now is just play a video around the impact that AYISA in general has achieved this year. Please let me know if you can also hear the sound.
Global human rights group Amnesty International is pleading with Police Minister Bheki Cele to clear the DNA backlogs that the group says are denying victims of gender-based violence and femicide access to justice. The group is also asking for more accurate information on the state of the system behind the backlog.
The municipality hasn't even come and assessed to repair it. It's a municipal road, basically. The river that I explained to you runs through here, and it's actually uprooted the entire car here, and all the stormwater is actually stormwater pipes are
Oh yeah, PE's been having a water crisis. I don't know why they're acting brand new, because it's not recent, for years. And there's a huge issue of them saying we're in a water crisis, we need to save water, we're going to declare a state of disaster, but there's leakages all over the metro. People are reporting, not that they're not, people are reporting it, and the municipality.
Let's move on to this worrying issue now. There's been a significant increase in the number of adolescent and young girls falling pregnant. According to Amnesty International, between 2017 in April and September 2021, the number of births to girls between 10 and 14 years of age increased by 48.7%. Now, one of the contributing factors to early pregnancies is also gender-based violence. The NGO says urgent intervention from all corners of society is needed.
Awesome. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Some of you will have seen this video before in the, or rather at the AGM that we had earlier on this year. And a lot of you actually, I'm sure you're seeing your faces and work really that you've done this year. And we're really grateful, you know, for everything that you've done. And, you know, sometimes, you know, for me, it's always like a happy moment, because we look at the fact that we started off planning. You know, we met at the beginning of the year, and then we said that these are the initiatives that we're going to do, you know, throughout the year. And I just want to, share a few highlights or updates really around what was achieved this year. Since COVID is still here, but manageable, let me say that. We were able to be more offline. We did a lot of offline work. A lot of you at the beginning of the year, like I said, we had the activist training where you made commitments around the different activities that you're wanting to do. And we're going to hear more about what you were able to achieve this year today. And we also had, we participated in a lot of protests. You'll see here, we were part of we did an anti-war, like a demonstration at the Russian embassy in Pretoria, demonstration. And it was really great. A lot of you attended. I know we had members from UJ, we had members from Val as well attending. We were invited by our members to host workshops. So community members or members of Amnesty would tell us that, I'm just a general member. I'm not part of the activism at AIS. I'm not part of any chapter, but I'd like to host a workshop. So you see here at the bottom, we were in Klerksdorp at an event that was organized by one of our youth members, and it was at a church, and we're talking about gender-based violence and consent and rape culture, which was really interesting because, at churches, normally people are normally uptight, but they were really open and welcoming. So that was really great. We were at the Human Rights Festival. A lot of you were there. And we also had our AGM, just to name a few. We had our AGM this year. We were at the youth parade. We did the education demonstration or protest with equal education. So we've been out a lot more this year. And the plan is going into next year, we want to do a lot more of these things. So if you, because I'm seeing that a lot of you that are here today are people that were part of the executive this year and you're moving on, maybe you're moving away from university, you're starting your professional careers. If you still want to be engaged with Amnesty, please just make sure that you stay in touch with us and we're able to take you on that journey on how you can be an active member outside of a university structure. And we'll be more than happy to do that. So with that said, I'm going to pass it over to Alwande, who is our Global Youth Collective representative. No, I'm in a rush, Alwande. I'm in a rush. I'm just thinking about, what you're going to be doing later on. Before we go to Alwande, let me start with the chapter's report back. And you'll see that there is an order that I've put you in. So if a member from that particular chapter is not present, what we will do is that I'll briefly speak to the work that they have done. And then, if they join and they're able to, or they want to add, to what I've said, then they're more than welcome to do that. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to ask that Tara from the University of Cape Town, please just do your report back, and then the others, please just prepare yourselves. Like I said, you have about 3 to 5 minutes to talk to what you guys were able to achieve this year. All right, so Tara, I'll hand it over to you.
Awesome, thanks, Joyce. This year was successful, but also challenging in a number of ways, and I'm sure many others can feel the same way. But we started off with our opening event in March. We invited a couple of performers, the same performers that we had for our Spring Fling event last year. And there were just 2 singers that performed lovely songs for everyone that attended. We had some food, and we introduced all the members to the society by describing our different subcommittees and trying to get subcommittee participation from that event. Then we coordinated with the UCT Palestinian Solidarity Forum. They had as they do yearly, a demonstration for Israeli Apartheid Week, and we stood in solidarity with them in speaking out against the human rights abuses occurring against Palestinians in Israel. then in May, we held a Workers' Day movie night and swap shop. So we watched a movie on human rights infringements in sweatshops in Bangladesh. And at the same time, well, before the movie started, we invited everyone to attend a swap shop where you brought 40 Rand and then one item of clothing or any kind of item that you didn't want anymore but was still in good condition. You paid your 40 Rand and you could exchange it for any other item that the members of the chapter had brought. So there were plants, there was clothing, someone gave away their matric dance dress, and like some jewelry and lovely things like that. It was very successful. Later on in the year, we had a fundraising walk where we raised awareness about mental illness and mental health concerns for the LGBTQIA+ community, as well as fundraising for our society. We had another documentary screening later in August where we were in combination with Women's Month. We looked at the combination between women's rights and the climate crisis, and looked at natural disasters in Haiti and the gender-based violence occurring in the camps, that the refugee camps or the camps to help people who'd been affected by the natural disaster. And then an ongoing project that happened throughout the year was we launched a newspaper. So you can see a brief screenshot of that in the bottom right corner, just to keep our members updated as to what we've been doing in the year, and what we've been up to, what we have planned, and what we've achieved. Something that's also run throughout the years, we send like a little announcement every public holiday explaining the background to the public holiday, and then resources where people can learn more about how those issues are ongoing in society, and what they can do in their communities to fight against those injustices. So yeah, that was what we got up to this year.
Well done, Tara. And thank you so much for sharing. Well done to you and the UCT team, because I know you've put in a lot of work. You know, sometimes you had exams and, you know, it was really challenging for you. So I'm really glad that you were able to achieve what you set out to achieve, even in difficult conditions. So thank you so much for sharing. We are going to move on now to Wits University. I have not gotten feedback from Wits. So Duduzile, I just wanted to check in with you on whether you will be doing the presentation from Wits.
Yes, Rejoice, I will.
Okay, awesome. So I'm just going to sorry. Ooh. Yeah, sharing today is a problem here. So let me just share the presentation again. And then you can take it away to do so.
Not a problem. Okay. Hi everyone again. Sure, a lot happened this year. I think but before I start to share on some of the key things that we did this year, I'd really just like to, even though they're not here, but just big ups to the team, particularly the exec that we had this year, because when we got into office, literally Amnesty Wits was not a thing on campus, and the amount of work that everybody intentionally put into revive it and bring it back to life on campus has been super impeccable and amazing. So I would just like to thank my team for their dedication and hard work throughout all the struggles we've had. So beginning of the year, because our year started a bit late, we started in the third month of the year. We started with a recruitment drive because our signups were really, really super low. We were sitting at about like 15 signups, and we decided that we're going to do our own quote unquote orientation day, where we actively went out to seek out supporters and people that were going to join the society. And literally at the end of that particular week, we were sitting at 49 new members for our chapter. So that was quite a big accomplishment for us because we didn't expect to be sitting at such a very high number. Um, Considering that it was our first time trying it. So yeah, the recruitment drive slash orientation week really, really super went well. And then following that, we had a couple of Insta lives. We started off with an Insta live that pertained to the reality of Human Rights Day, where my vice chairperson was basically having a conversation. Surrounding the reality of human rights day, the access to them today, are they still enjoyable? Can we still say that we are, because this was in commemoration to Human Rights Day, does the day still have significance, and so forth. And then we had another Insta live, particularly focusing on climate change, that was talking about feeling the heat and basically the implications of the current climate issues that we have, and what we can actively or proactively rather do to sort of mitigate that, to not, sort of spread the word. Because I think the fundamental thing that we always wanted to do was always put education behind each and every project that we do, sort of like laying the foundation, so that people, especially our supporters, especially the community vets, they can understand the intensity of the issues that we are raising, and we're not just having another conversation. And then we had another Insta live that focused on making menstrual health sustainable, when we were basically, it was a human right education program that we did, and we basically had an Insta live surrounding that. And then after that, we had a queer trivia night for Pride Month, which was super fun, by the way, which was super fun. And that was basically creating a safe space where the LGBTQI plus community can come together and share their experiences with people who are not part of the community, to sort of inform the reality of their daily lives, to sort of like enlighten the people that are not part of the community about the injustices that they face, and how we as people who are not part of the community can be allies to people who are in the community, or the community in of itself. So that event was truly a success, a great success. And then we did Freedom Day videos somewhere in the year, where we basically asked people, what does Freedom Day mean to you? So again, keeping in mind the context of the actual day itself, how the trying to like dig deeper into how relevant is it today, or how can we better contextualize it to the modern times, and then we also had our first annual environmental debate, which also was a huge success as well. Um, and all the topics were basically surrounded around climate change, and yeah, that was fantastic and amazing. And then we also had, I think I'm forgetting some, oh yes, I see chat on the screen. We also had a self-defense, we also had like a self-defense event happening in collaboration though with the Vic's Boxing Club. And basically, this was just like an icebreaker event to having open and honest conversations with a lot of our vets community, as well as the vets management, as well as vet supporters, just to talk around gender-based violence and what the institution in of itself, what systems and processes do they have in place, to sort of like help mitigate those issues. How can the vets population, if somebody experiences a GBV situation, what do they do? So because I remember this particular one led up to having a conversation with the Gender Equity Office, where we were trying to really get an in-depth understanding of the processes and the procedures that people need to follow, students need to follow if they ever find themselves in a tricky situation like that. And so this particular boxing event really just led up to those conversations to say, this is the information, because we know that it's not out there, but how can we better mitigate this? So yeah, from our end, it's really been a very challenging year, but I think Well, it's not a thought, but the team really did their utmost best to make sure that everything went great. And one of the biggest achievements, I should mention, that we started a blog. We really started a blog, which our treasurer and fundraising officer was really pushing for it to work, and she really put in so much work to ensure the successful launch of the blog. And yeah, that's pretty much it on the vet end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Duduzile. And again, congratulations to you and the team for all of the hard work that you guys have put in. And, just a reminder, some of these initiatives that the chapters are doing, you'll see that there's a lot of collaboration. At the beginning of the year, we discussed how you can collaborate with other organizations that, are able to do things that we as Amnesty cannot do. So an example of that is that boxing session that they had. So we're more than happy to do collaborations as long as we know that it's going to be aligned with our campaigns. And also to highlight that the blog is still active, our human rights on the Amnesty International South Africa website. So if you'd like to make a submission, please just reach out and we will be able to put that on to the website. So we'll move on to the next one, which is the University of Johannesburg. Tyler, are you here?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Good day, everyone. I'll be representing on behalf of Amnesty South Africa at UJ. We'll start it off with the first event that we had, which you could see on your far left of the top, which was the march in which we had in collaboration with the VAR, if I'm not mistaken. From UJ, it was our first event that we attended as Amnesty International at UJ, as we had conundrums when we had to establish our chapter. However, as soon as the event came about, we made time and we were able to actually come through. And the event precisely was more centered around the human rights violations which are occurring in Russia due to the war. And we went to the Russian embassy, which was in PTA, and we had a very successful march actually. Collaborations, universities were there. Support came from both sides, both at Amnesty South Africa, UJ, and VAL. And we had an independent as well event in which we had, as a chapter, we decided to actually have an inter-school debate in which it took us some time to organize and prepare for. However, we did a inter-school debate in which we invited, if not mistaken, 6 schools, 6 local schools, in which we gave out topics which are quite related to human rights violations as well as climate change and water. Then, just apologies, we had a collaboration with Palestine. We had a lot more actually collaborations with Palestine this year, as we firstly attended a workshop which was in Constitutional Hill. Unfortunately, it's not here in the pictures. However, we went ahead again to go with Palestine not so long ago, as you can see on the picture on your far right, whereby we're actually addressing the injustices which are happening in Palestine and Israel. A lot of chapters were there. We went along with VETS, if not mistaken, VETS was there. It was both UJ and VETS, as you got a special invitation. And as you can see also on your left side, on your left side down there, those are the pictures of me and my colleagues, some of them, as we're there at the Palestine Walk in Lenasia. And the last picture that is actually posted is when we're attending the AGM. Most of my colleagues were there. Some of the events we had, which is that we had a bit of problems with it to create a proper slideshow. However, we tried our best to come up with proper events for the year, even though we're lately established. But for the most part, I'd say that we did the most that we can. And I'd say that with what we did, we actually came out really successful, considering how we were panicking on how we were late for registering, how with appointing the executive. But as soon as we started appointing our executive, we started working, and I'm proud to say that we did an outstanding job. But from the UJ chapter, I would say that it was a really successful year with all the events that we had. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Taylor. And again, congratulations to you and the team at UJ for the hard work that you put in. Yeah, I'm so proud of the work that you guys have shared so far. And if you look at the activities that have been shared, a lot of them really are speaking to what do you call it, events that have taken place this year. And now, going into next year, I think you've laid a very solid foundation. Going into next year, what we're wanting to do is move away from just events and think about how to do, campaigns. So I'm going to be sharing a bit about that later on. And yeah, I think, we're really, really excited with the new team that is going to be coming up or joining the executive next year, or towards the end of this year now, and then going into next year to work on these campaigns and make sure that your work doesn't go to waste. So Sbu, I think you're sharing now. The next one is UKZN. So I just wanted to check if Taylor Ngumalo is here, or whether there is a rep from the UKZN chapter. Okay, so I see there's no one. Tyler did report that she wasn't feeling well. So I will make this presentation on her behalf. UKZN, similar to, a lot of you, had a few challenges in terms of registration, getting the university to recognize them as a society. That took a bit of time, and it's something that they're prioritizing now before the year ends, because if they wait to do it next year, then they might face similar issues. So I also want to encourage you and your execs who I've spoken to start working on registration for next year now. Make sure that you have everything that you need. But nonetheless, they were still able to have an event on Human Rights Day, which was able to mobilize around 70 people in Durban. And this they did in collaboration with the Durban community chapter. And the nice thing about having a university chapter and a community chapter in the same place is that, they're able to work together on certain projects. And you see with the Durban slide later on that they also have been collaborating with a lot of other organizations and this particular chapter as well. So they were able to do that and got around 75 people to attend the event, and they've been working on their membership. And the goal now really is to work on succession for next year, make sure that the foundation is in place so that the new team, when they come in January, then everything is really set. So you see that the next photo there is the elections. They've been hosting elections and looking for people to basically be their successors. And we're wishing UKZN all of the best, and we're here to support them if they need more. And please, if you would like to collaborate with any of the other chapters, especially you guys that are going to be continuing the work next year, please, let me know, let the chapter know, and we'll be more than happy to facilitate that engagement between the two of you. So thank you for that. Asbu, could you please just go on to the next slide? Thank you, Sbu. So next we have Fort here. Nyasha, would you like to go?
Oh yeah, hello guys, how are you? Thank you, Joyce. So I'll just go straight into it. And wow, I've seen that the other institutions are doing quite well, the other chapters. So we are hoping to get to that level as well very soon, because as you have mentioned before, we had the same issue as KwaZulu-Natal in terms of registration. So our year, it was very difficult because we had a lot of challenges in regards to that. So however, we also tried to make sure that, we do community reach out during the course of year, during the course of the year, because we were not registered, so we could not do our events at school. And also due to online learning, our chapters had to start all over again in terms of recruiting supporters and members, as well as most of them were back to their hometowns. So communication was difficult and all that. We had about 3 events. And during this year, UFA chapter managed to have, actually it was 4 events in celebration and raising awareness to the pressing matters. For example, GBV, bullying in schools, the LGBTQ society, and women's rights. So our first event, we went to Science College. In fact, it was a recruitment drive, but we had a few glitches in terms of the issue that we had not been registered. So we decided to go to a local high school where we met with the matric students, and the turnout there was quite amazing because we had about 150 people in the hall, including the staff members and other various members from also the community as well. I think we had about 5 people from the community. So that turned out to be a very well planned out, really, not really planned out, but yeah, it turned out to be a good event. And it was a way of reaching out to the community and society that we live in and make them aware of our cause of action, who we are as Amnesty International UFA chapter. It was one of the best and most successful event of the year for us because we got to engage with students on various issues such as bullying, GBV, and other human rights issues they had questions for. And some of them were quite keen to join the Amnesty International as they get to university level. So that was quite an achievement for us because now when they go to universities, they already know that there's Amnesty International and they're going to look for it. And also another good initiative that came up was that there's a need to have a high school Amnesty chapter so we can catch them young. This actually came from one of the students who was saying, no, you must introduce this organization to high school students, even primary, because once you catch them young, they grow with the values that they respect human rights. And at the end of the day, their mindset respects and honors human rights. So we also had a recruitment drive in the middle of the year, and this grew our supporter space with about 250. Obviously, this is included with the drive that we went to the Science College. Another event as well is a local picnic that we have in Southernwood, as you can see from the pictures. Unfortunately, I could not send all the pictures in time to rejoice. That's why you can only see the pictures of the picnic. But only if you go on our social media, if you search UFH on Amnesty International on Facebook and Instagram, you can find the videos of the initiatives that we've done this year. The recruitment drive was important to us because people got to notice us as well, even at the campus. So we kind of got help from other people in terms of registration, but because of the delays in terms of school politics, student politics, it was a bit hazy, but we are getting there. And then we also had another event in collaboration with the SRC at the university in celebration of Women's Month. This was also a successful event, and we had a panel discussing women's rights and also the LGBTQ society and the issues that women and children and all those who are marginalized in the society face. And our turnout there was about 150 people. So it was in collaboration with the SRC of the University of Fort Hare. And our challenges, mainly it was the registration of organization on campus. So we had to do our events, like I said before, outside campus. Unless we collaborate with other organizations. Like, for example, when we collaborated with the SRC had to sort out the event and everything, and then we had to chip in on other things, like, for example, refreshments and all other things like that. So, yeah, thank you. I think that is all from us. We hope that next year and the incoming executive would do better, as we are also trying to get the institution registered. But yeah, we're getting there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nyasha, and well done on the work that you've done so far. And like I was saying earlier, it is really important for us to really work together in terms of getting you guys recognized. So Nyasha mentioned at the AGM that you would like for us to do a tour, basically come to universities, help you get registered. So if you could start facilitating those conversations now or organizing meetings with the relevant people, would be more than happy to either start towards the end of the year now, if it's possible, or very early next year before you start with your academic year. Organize those meetings with the relevant student bodies and then get you recognized as a chapter on campus. But yeah, thank you so much for the really amazing work, Nyasha, and yeah, the work that you've done in terms of also planning for succession. You've really done well, so thank you. So if you could go on to the next slide, please. And up next, I think we have Stellenbosch. Do we have a representative from Stellenbosch here? Angelique? Angelique, are you here? Okay, it doesn't look like Angelique is here. I will do the presentation on their behalf. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Spoon. So Stellenbosch also have been facing similar challenges to what Nyasha has kind of been speaking to, but they've also, found a way. I think what's really inspirational about all of you guys is that, whichever challenges you came across this year, you managed to work through them, and I think that's the biggest thing, because as activists, you always face challenges in your work. And it's not really about, the challenges that you face, but rather what you did to overcome these challenges. And, I really want to commend your resilience and the effort that you've put in. Stellenbosch started off in collaboration with other societies on campus, and they basically had a march for Ukraine, raising awareness. And this was early in March this year. And yeah, I think after that, they managed to get a lot of traction on campus where people were joining, but they did have a few challenges themselves as well, because a lot of people, there's this expectation that, maybe Amnesty is a first responder kind of organization. So when people find out that you don't do first response kind of work, then it becomes difficult for them to get engaged, because they don't know or understand how they can contribute. And seeing that we do research, advocacy, and campaigning, plus human rights education, because the scope really is broad, but because people are not all passionate about these things, it's not everybody that's passionate about the same things, it's difficult to retain people. So retention was a big challenge at Stellenbosch, but they still were able to push through with the executive that was present. You'll see there that they had a period matters discussion. They had a school visit. They went to a school in Kayamnandi, and they spoke to kids there about period poverty, and they linked that to GBV and early pregnancy. And yeah, so this was a really great initiative that was led by Angelique, who was the outreach person at Stellenbosch. And at the moment, they are in the process of recruiting a new team for 2023. And those are the people that we will be working with in 2023. You might have seen that a few of them who were already recruited were at the AGM that we had earlier on last month. So yeah, we're just building, we'll be working closely with Stellenbosch as well to ensure that they are also able to continue on with the work and continue the work at Stellenbosch. So thank you for that. Sbu, could you please just move on to the next slide? And while Sbu is changing the slide, I wanted to check if the Flompo or Samkeliso are in the meeting so that they can present on behalf of UP. Also to say that a lot of people are busy with exams, so a lot of people were not able to attend because they had exams. Either they're writing on Monday, or some of them are even writing today, so they couldn't make the session. And I know UP is one of those groups, so if there's no one here, I'll just continue to speak on their behalf. They supported Amnesty's report launch at the beginning of the year, as it was held at UP, the Israel report, Israel Apartheid against Palestinians. This was launched at the beginning of the year, and UP was really great in terms of mobilizing people to attend the event. And then they also had a number of outreach activities where they recruited members, and they're normally really good at activating people and getting people to sign up to become part of Amnesty. As you can see in the two pictures where they're in auditoriums, this is when they had in the auditorium, this is where they had their AGM, and last I checked, they had around 300 members, and they also are facing similar challenges with the university, because I think at UP, one of the biggest challenges is that Amnesty is seen as a controversial organization. And getting recognition has been really difficult for them, but that hasn't stopped them. They've continued on, they're continuing to push, and we're working together to ensure that they still remain active in 2023. So that's that on UP. Can we just move on to the next slide, please, Sabu? Okay, so now we are speaking to community chapters. And yeah, community chapters have been busy this year. Hey, they've been so busy. So I'll just pause here for now and ask if Samson, are you still in the meeting?
Yes, I'm still in the meeting.
Okay, cool. Please just go ahead and share. I've just shared a few pictures here. You can, yeah, just take over from here. Thanks.
Okay, guys. My name is Samson. I'm from Amnesty World Chapter in Everton. And yeah, my team would love to join the meeting, but if load shedding is giving us trouble, and they would like just to greet the family. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Sawezuma Sisi. I'm from Amnesty World Chapter.
Hi guys, my name is Solomon Mulubi. I'm from Amnesty World Chapter.
Hi guys, my name is Simon Mabuza. I'm from Val Chapter.
Okay, guys. That's the team for Amnesty World Chapter. Yeah, we had a year actually, and we are also excited to be part of the supporters assembly. And first, we would like to thank the team of Amnesty International South Africa, because you all know before doing any event, you just have to consult with them first, and they'll be the one organizing everything, equipment, everything that you need just to make your event a success. Yeah, we had a year actually. Our event we focused on GBV. Most of our event we were focusing on gender-based violence. Yeah, the first event that we did actually was on hashtag Let's Talk About It. We all know that before doing any event, you just have to go through, make a research. Because at the end of the day, you must achieve something. So I'm going to talk about these two events that we did on hashtag Let's Talk About It. During what we did actually during the events, most of the people that were attending our events were females. Most of our event we were struggling to get the males actually, elderly people, you know. So and then we discovered that there was a myth going around that GBV only it's only for women, because even the posters, even when someone is going to host an event on gender-based violence, he or she will always place a picture of a woman crying, a man portraying a man as a lion, violent. So yeah, so that's the reason we found when we were asking them that why aren't they supporting this event, because there is always a knee on their neck. But we did tell them that gender-based violence doesn't focus on one gender, it focuses on both genders. So I think Amnesty is doing a lot, informing people about the human rights, and we must always keep in mind that there are myths out there that are, are pulling down people not to get the proper knowledge that they need. So yeah, it was a success. We did 2 events on hashtag Let's Talk About It, because when this thing happened in where we are located, is that when someone gets abused, even the neighbors, they cannot just go there and or call the police or even help, because they think that tomorrow these people will be in a good state and they will be blaming them for being the bad people, for trying to break their relationship or whatever. So these are some of the contributing reasons why in the community where we are living, there was a high rate of gender-based violence, because they have said that you will have them tomorrow, they are together, then they start blaming you. But we had a solution that to give them information based on that. When someone does something wrong, actually, as long as you are abusing someone's rights, it is against the law. Someone must be accountable. So basically, there was a lack of information, and yeah, at the end of the day, people came to their senses, and that's when we started to have both genders represented in each and every campaign that we do. And then there was other one, because as a community chapter we are not limited when it comes to doing events, because at the beginning of the year we came with a concept that says hashtag Kasi to Kasi tours, which doesn't limit us, which means we do events and campaigns in our community and also neighboring communities. So there was this study event that we had was hashtag walk in my shoes. This one was quite actually exciting because it had a lot of attendance, and lunch was served. The team of Amnesty International South Africa is working very hard just to make our event a success. So hashtag walk in my shoes was basically where we as men, we had to wear women's clothes, and women had to wear men's clothes. So yeah, it was exciting. It was a 1 day experience that will last forever. Actually, even today we still talking about it. Even yesterday we were talking about it. And then there was a sketch around it, because yeah, we are activists, and again we have talent again. So yeah, so together it makes just a perfect thing. So on stage there was a sketch that was portrayed where I played a character of a woman, and then there was this girl who played the character of a man, and then I had to submit to her. No, I had to calm myself. Um and I really felt that what women are going through, because now you don't have the strength. Even when you try to push uh the person who's fighting, try to push him, I just have to remember that, okay, I'm playing a character of a woman. I just have to push him nicely, and it wasn't a good thing actually. It was an experience that is very bad actually. So I can just imagine how women who have been abused are going through. You have ways to talk, but you don't have the strength to defend yourself. So this was an event actually that led many people commenting and participating. It was on. So yeah, um, at the end of the day, human rights information is very important. And there was another event that we did at Sharpeville, where we partnered with GBV Brigade, SAPS, and there were other organizations that joined us. So it is always good to have a partnership with other organizations that are working with things that are similar to what we are doing. So and then the fourth one, we did school tours this year on early child pregnancy. We went to schools, Mateke Secondary School, and yeah, unpacking discussion on early child pregnancy and its causes, what contributes to early child pregnancy, and yeah, it was exciting to have their participation on the day, and we managed to reach almost 200 young people on that day. And the most important thing again is human right information, knowing their rights and also their responsibilities. And then the other one that we had is water campaign. We had it at Palm Springs. Every drop counts at Section D, where there is a challenge of sewage pipes blasting, and there was this lady in her yard. There is a main hole that blasted in her yard actually, and then what she said was that COVID-19 is still here for us because we have to always wear masks. We don't have outdoor events or ceremonies. We don't. We must always be indoors. So in Palm Springs, it's worse. It's worse, especially if the women and children are suffering. And we managed to have the counselor present at the event and promised to do something about it. And we managed also to attend an exhibition. And the issue of early child pregnancy as the VAL chapter, we took it by force. Actually, it was a campaign for us. We attended an exhibition invited by the Selila Bacha Rehabilitation Center. They saw our work as the chapter and what we're doing in the community. And then lastly, we did people power and early child pregnancy at Tepong Phase 4. At Tepong, their challenge is water and housing, but that's why we chose people power, just to make them aware of their rights and the power that they have. And yeah, when it comes to electing the people that they want to, as Amnesty, we don't talk politics, but we just tell people that, you know what, you are the change that you want. And you guys, if you can unite, things can be better. And many things were discussed, and they talked about their better choice, their better option. And yeah, it was exciting for not relying on other people, but to take action. Yesterday we had one again, which was a debate. Like I've said, as a community chapter this year, I think early child pregnancy was the topic for us, and we had debate on early child pregnancy. And the most exciting part is that we had children who were 14 who were present, and yeah, and parents were also present. And we discussed on the contributing factors. Some of them, had their own opinions, to blame the government, to blame the system, that social media platforms. But at the end of the day, GBV stood out also, that it is the most contributing factor to early child pregnancy, because now this child goes through this thing. Her uncle raped her, and the uncle now is a breadwinner. And then this child didn't tell her mother. She went straight to the police station, and now her mother is supporting the uncle because now he's a breadwinner. So yeah, and the community responded very positive on that. That no. When it comes to breaking the law, there is no discussion. Everyone who breaks the law must face jail time. And yeah, our success as the VAL chapter is that every event that we did was a success, and number of people came and supported us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sam. You guys have done really well this year. And just to let you know, guys, the part of the audience, I only added a few pictures here because I couldn't add everything. The VAL chapter has been so busy this year, and they've been reaching so many people, and they've recruited well over 1,200 supporters for the movement. So yeah, we really want to thank you for all of your hard work and look forward to working with you again in the new year. I wanted to see, Boyka, are you here? Because the VAL actually is divided into two groups, for those of you that might not know. Samson and the team that are also joining. Thank you so much. Please just stay on the call, because it'd be great to have you guys be part of the picture later on. But Bo Samson are basically based in Everton. And then Boyka is based in, Savannah City, and it's two different municipalities. So they're operating as one chapter, but in different groups. So Boyka, are you here? Okay, it doesn't look like Boyka is here, but he did communicate that he's been having problems with the network this morning. So Asbu, if you could please just go on to Boyka's slide, the next slide, and then I'll just speak briefly to the activities that they've done this year. So just like the Everton group, these guys have also been very busy this year. Their focus also has been on GBV and human rights education. A lot of their work has been on GBV, human rights education, and the right to water. So if you remember, we launched a climate justice campaign at the beginning of the year, and the Val Community Chapter, Savannah City Chapter, actually hosted a workshop, which Bo Samson and the team from Everton supported. And what was reported after this, we had a workshop to basically get the community members to make the link between climate justice and the right to water. What we're seeing in our work is that people don't really understand or don't really resonate with the term climate change or climate justice. But when we made the link to the right to water, then people were able to see that, oh, okay, I see how this is affecting my right to food, my right to water, my right to healthcare, that kind of thing. So after that, after the workshop that we had where we shared our toolkits with people and basically did people power planning, and they wrote letters to the Midval local municipality. After a few days, Boyka, who is leading the work in Savannah City, came back and reported to us that the municipality, actually the ward councillor, had heard about the event, and he was going to take measures basically to make sure that they address this. And here we can basically give credit to maybe one or two things, right? First is the Amnesty brand. You know, a lot of our officials, you know, we take it for granted, but some of them who know what we're about really take our work really seriously, and those that do not want to have a bad reputation really, you know, make sure that they do the things that need to be done, and that they don't really get into trouble and start being seen to, you know, where they start being seen as if, you know, they are violating people's human rights. So the ward councillor met with the council at the municipality, and within a week or two, the water issues that the community was addressing were actually resolved. And, you know, this was a really positive story of impact that we saw from, from the Savannah City chapter. And yeah, they've been really pushing, doing human rights education on the right to water, making sure that people also understand the link there with climate change. Another thing that they've been doing is, you'll see there are two posters that are basically themed film screening. So how they've been doing human rights education is that they've been watching films with young people in the community, because they want to attract, you know, young people using techniques or tactics that would work and would be relevant to these young people. So they've been having film screenings, and they would be having human rights discussions after these human rights film screenings. And they've really been successful as well, because a lot of young people, young and old, would attend and have questions. You know, we watch movies and we don't really think about the human rights implications within the context of the movie. But when you start having a conversation, you start breaking it down, then you're able to see that, oh, okay, this is how people's human rights have been violated here, or these are the human rights topics that are being covered here, and what can we learn from this particular thing, instead of just being entertained, you know. And that has been really a great and innovative initiative that they have come up with. Another thing that they were focusing on also is GBV, and they've done a lot of HRE around the community around GBV. So the Val community chapter has been very busy, and we want to commend all of you, both the Savannah City and the Everton group, for the work that you've been doing, because yeah, you really set the bar high. And you know, I was having a conversation with one of our activists yesterday, and they were saying that they want to start a community chapter, but in KZN, but they don't know, you know, they don't have a lot of highly educated people, but it's people that are really passionate. And I was just saying this to them, that it doesn't really matter your education level. It doesn't matter if you ended off at whatever grade, as long as you have a passion and you want to do this human rights work, then we are here, and we're going to support you in making sure that, you know, this work reaches your community. Because you find that even in our communities, in our township communities, the grandmothers that we're speaking to are not highly educated, but we have to make sure that the message also resonates to them, so that we're not leaving anyone behind. And I think that the Val community chapter, both Everton and Savannah City, have been very successful at doing that. Well done to the both of you. I'm going to ask Boo, could you please just go over to the next slide? I'm seeing that we're just a little bit over time. Yes, thank you so much. Nondumiso, are you here? Nondumiso? Okay, it doesn't look like Nondumiso is here. Nondumiso is the chairperson of the Soweto Community Chapter. So this year, we officially launched a community chapter in Soweto. And it's really been great, you know, like the fact that we are now, and you'll see as I get into more of how we're expanding in 2023, community chapters are really the way to go. And we're not saying we're leaving out university chapters, but we're seeing that we can exist in both spaces, right? This is also a space for all of you once you've graduated from university and maybe you're still looking for a job, or you do have a job and you want to be active in your community, then you can start this work in your community because we're going to be layering it or structuring it around different municipalities. So Soweto and Protea, Nondumiso and the team there that you see on the screen launched the chapter, and their focus really was to introduce human rights topic to a group of young people, and they had about between 40 to 50 young people attending the event. And these are young people that have committed and said that we're really interested, we'll work with you, come up with a year plan, because we're seeing that there are a lot of human rights violations that are happening in Soweto, like any other township or any other area in South Africa. And their focus really was on GBV, mental health, sexuality, and sexual reproductive health. And they also did work on water and sanitation. So we are working very closely with the team, and we will be asking for your support. So if you have any expertise or anything that you'd like to share since they're starting out, please just reach out, and we'll be more than happy to have you attend one of the events or help them organize a few things so that we also get them established and they can be as rooted as the VAL community chapter is. So thank you, Soweto community chapter, for your work, and we look forward to expanding the work next year. Sbu, if you could please just go on to the next slide. Thank you, Sbu. Durban also isn't here, unfortunately, today. A lot of them are working, so they weren't able to make this meeting. So what I'm going to do is just speak briefly to what they did, because they've been really active, and so they still have other events that are going to be coming up between now and the end of the year. Like I said earlier, when I spoke about UKZN, they collaborated on this human rights discussion at the Dennis Hurley Center in Durban. And if you know the Durban community chapter, you know that it's still led by Coral, who is over, I think she's 92 years old. She's the chairperson, and she's been with the chapter since 1991. So before some of us were even born. She's been doing a lot of great work in Durban. And they had this event. They also had the AGM, and the nice thing about the Durban chapter is that a lot of their members came to our AGM, the AISA AGM, and a lot of them are now becoming members of the national movement. And the great thing about becoming a member is that, as things move on and we're able to, or we become a section, then your voices will be, will be heard a bit more in terms of the work that is being done and how you can support the work that AISA is doing as members. So they have been really active as well. They had another event on water in collaboration with other partners around human rights, or rather Women's Day. And this was also led by Coral and a few other organizations, as you can see in the poster there. So we really appreciate the work that the Durban Community Chapter is doing. And these are people that are older, people that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and even 90s, like I was saying with Coral, they're still doing this work. So this just gives you an idea that being a chapter or an activist is not really limiting. As long as you're passionate and you're willing to do the work in your community and you have the capacity to do one or two things, we're able to provide you with that support. So well done to the Durban Community Chapter. We look forward to working with them as well in the new year. Sbu, if you could please just go on to the next slide. Thank you so much. I'll just pause here for now and pass it over to Alwande, who is AISA's Global Youth Representative Collective, Global Youth Collective Representative. So over to you, Alwande.
Sure. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm one of those. And I am really excited to be here. So I'm just going to start speaking. We're going to just go from left to right. And I'm just going to start with a quick, either introduction or just a reminder of what the Global Youth Collective is, because quite a few of you have been asking what it is. But essentially the global movement, so Amnesty International as a global movement, has a Global Youth Collective, which is a team of Amnesty International youth leaders and also Amnesty staff who have a youth brief from obviously across the global movement, and we basically campaign for youth engagement and participation from the top down and left-right approach. So what we do is we bring thought leadership and to the international youth strategy, and also are currently involved with global governance decision-making decisions that are made. Decision-making as. So it's quite important because representation really does matter, and you'll actually see how processes and decisions either change dramatically or very, very just have minute changes if your voice is in that room or within that space. So that's really, really great. So it's been quite a busy year as the Global Youth Collective, but it's that year. So you serve for 2 years, and every second year you start by doing like preliminary research and laying the foundations of the next year. So that was this year, and that was it also happened to be my first year coming in. So with research, what we did was we wrapped up the 2021, so last year's State of Amnesty report, Amnesty Youth report, and we co-forwarded this. I co-forwarded this with two other colleagues, Celia, who's from Amnesty Algeria, and Miloš, who's from Amnesty Poland, and I'm sure everyone has seen it, and I hope it really represented what the youth of South Africa have done in 2021. Then a really cool, exciting program and a huge research program is the Research Rebels, which has actually been in the pipelines for I think 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. And the Research Rebels are essentially a team of 10 children and young people who are basically work with the global children and youth team on the development of Amnesty's first ever child and youth-led research methodology. It took so much work getting this project off the ground, and it also was an opportunity for the global movement to be really serious about youth participation and ensuring that youth participation was not taken as in any ways. So this was a huge, huge project. It's definitely youth-led, and there is some guidance and sort of some support from the global team, but it's youth-led purely from top to bottom. Then another thing that we did focus on in research, and we're still working on, is the Youth Power Action Network platform development. So I know some of you guys are a part of the Youth Power Action Network, and you have been seeing that the site is just the current site that it's on, which is Facebook's Workplace, which is a meta-based site, is just not user-friendly. It takes so much data, it takes a lot of space. The bandwidth is one of the most heaviest sites. I was really surprised that we're actually using that. And it also doesn't really protect human rights that much. So the decision was made to move around that huge big tech realm of Meta and move towards a more independent tech firm to help develop the platform. So that platform is being developed, and we're at the stage where we're just trialing and erroring it and making sure that quite a few people can use it. We're a group of, I think, 15 of us do that. Moving to advocacy. I also am serving as a global group of activism liaison, which is a governance role, and we basically make more high level, like global strategic decisions, as well as give advice on other decisions. So that's a really exciting role. And it's made up of, it's like 90% made up of Amnesty staffers. So that's a pretty cool role to be in. We also are working on the wellness program, volume 2 version of it, and we're developing obviously the second volume of this, and we're looking at our mental, physical, and psychological and emotional well-being, but from the perspective of taking care of the activist. So what does it mean to be an activist? How best can you be an activist? And how best could you and more strategically do it so that it doesn't take a toll on your mental, physical, psychological, and emotional well-being? And we've also discovered that coaching plays a huge, huge part and role in this. Social media support has also been huge because we are slowly moving out of a completely virtual space and slowly moving back in person. So transitioning that like huge social media support that the movement was focused on into more like on the ground support has been really, really great. So campaigns and actions, this is the last column. I must just disclaimer. So I am a campaigner by profession. I'm a recent campaigner, and I focus on like tech rights and like exposing financial crimes. So a lot of the projects that I was put in had that bias. So I do think next year, which is something that I should have done this year, but we learn and we move, it would be really, really great for me to join projects that are representative of all of us, of all supporters, and not necessarily just like my interests, if that makes sense. So being a tech fanatic, Right Click was the first biggest campaign that I was a part of this year. And it's basically focusing on digital rights, but more specifically children's digital rights throughout the global movement. And we're currently prepping for a visioning summit, which I can't disclose too much information about that because it's pretty embargoed at the moment. But I can say that it's going to be the biggest Right Click programmatic event, and it's a very, very important event. And I think it's huge that South Africa does have an in that, you know, we're not really taken very seriously in the digital world. So it's really exciting that that's there. Another campaign that we focused on, a global campaign, was Protect the Protest and Protect the Protester. So it's still one campaign and just focuses that it has two different arms. And it was one of Amnesty's largest campaigns for this year and for next year too. And it basically just looks at protecting, informing and developing the international right to protest, as well as the international rights that a protester needs to consistently have. And it's a huge, huge campaign from a global movement, but also from a national from a national team, because South Africa is still the protest capital. And we definitely do express our democratic, you know, voices through protesting and different protest actions. And then lastly is a campaigns review. So Amnesty as a global movement is currently undergoing a campaigning review process, which is, I want to say pretty boring, but I think that's rude. So not boring, but it's a lot. It's very like bureaucratic and very like governance, but it's also really inspiring and really, really important, because it's a lot for a huge movement to take a step back and be like, what's working, what can be better, and what do we need to just stop doing completely. So we're doing that, and it's really, really cool to see how we can better campaigns going forward and ensure that Amnesty as a theoretical research-based being is, you know, also Amnesty as a on the ground physical being too. So this year, definitely the Global Youth at the Global Youth Collective, I've definitely realized that representation does matter, and that there's just so much that we could be doing, so many spaces that we should be a part of, and it's been awesome to serve you all. Thank you. Was that under 5 minutes, Rejoice?
Yes, and thank you so much, Alwande. Really appreciate that. Yeah, you guys have been so busy this year. Hey, those of you that were attending the Supporters Assembly last year would know that that's when we made the announcement that Alwande would be joining representing AYISA. So these are some of the opportunities that exist for activists within the movement. So, you know, as you're thinking about how you're moving forward with your career, or your activism work, think about, you know, these kinds of things and what else you can be involved in, because we're always sharing opportunities with the youth newsletter that we have. We're always sharing opportunities on how you can be more involved. So please stay active, and obviously, you know, when opportunities come and you're the best qualified for the role, then you will be able to have a standard chance basically to also be a part of these different programs. So thank you so much, Alwande. If we could move on to the next slide. Alwande is actually also a member of our alumni network, which is a body that we are establishing. It's fairly new, and at the moment what they're doing basically is just advise, right? So it's basically an advisory body where they're advising AYISA, the national movement, on, you know, what steps can be taken to ensure that, you know, we do better with regards to activism in South Africa. And all of these people that you see on screen, we have Zanda, we have Alwande, Rabia, and we also have Jacqueline. These are people that have been involved with Amnesty since, I don't know when. Zanda, probably around 2016, 2017, that's when I met him. And he's been involved in different roles within Amnesty. He was part of the UP community, UP chapter. Rabia was part of the UCT chapter. Jacqueline was part of the Refugee Rights Network, and Alwanda was part of the VITS chapter at some point. So they've all had these roles that you guys were playing this year, and they've remained on. You know, when opportunities come up, they stay involved. And now what they're doing really is helping AISA in an advisory capacity come up with the best activism program that will reach everyone in South Africa, because we want our youth program to be very youth-led and youth-focused. And yeah, that's mainly been their role. So there's an opportunity for all of you guys. I know a lot of you have reached out and said that you would like to be a part of the alumni network. What will be happening between now and the end of the year is that a form will be coming out, and please do not sign up to be a part of the alumni network if you do not have capacity. At the moment, what it looks like, it's been monthly meetings. So once a month we meet. The first meeting that we had was basically planning for the year and the different things that the alumni network would be focusing on. And there are a number of things around membership, activism, training, and activities that they want to lead on their own that are membership related with regards to the national membership. And this program will be refined, or the work plan will be refined, especially as we head into the new year. So if you do not have capacity to meet at least once a month, please, I think it won't really be beneficial for you. If you're going to be applying, please just think about what that looks like. The meetings are normally in the evenings, so between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. depending on when people are available. So if you are interested, I'll be sending out that form towards the end of the year. Please fill it in, and January will take you on that journey, and you can also be part of our alumni network, and also play that advisory role around activism and be engaged in other things that are outside of university chapters or community chapters. So that is it on this. Spoo, could you please just go on to the next slide? Thank you. Okay, Spoo, can I just, maybe before we can do that after your slide. I'm just going to hand over to Spoo. Spoo will take you through Right for Rights. A lot of you know about this, but yeah, Spoo, I think over to you.
Okay, thanks, Rejoice, and hi again, everyone. And as Rejoice has mentioned, I'm sure most of you already know about our Rights for Rights campaign, of which has been existing for over 20 years. And obviously, what we seek to do is to put pressure on various governments across the world in terms of making sure that we do protect individuals at risk. And this year, in terms of Amnesty South Africa, we are focusing on the case of Fikile Ntshangase in terms of trying to seek justice for her, because she was killed in 2022, in October 2022, in her home in Opondweni. And since then, it's been about 2 years, and there's no justice for Fikile Ntshangase. And in case you do not know the story, she was part of the part of the activists who were protesting against the Joe mine, which is in KZN. That's taking place in KZN. So she was against the expansion of the coal mine in her area in Umfolozi as part of Umtejo, the group that is the group of activists that is protesting against the mine. And so now what we are urging you to do is to try and excuse me for sort of sounding a bit shaky. I'm trying to move the slides and yet I can't. So please bear with me on that part. But in general, what we're trying to do is to try and, because our target is the police minister and the SAPS, to try and make sure that we put pressure on them to make sure that they arrest the killers of Fikile Ntshangase. And also, you can also take a party in writing a letter to her daughter Malungelo Chakaza, in sort of giving her a message of solidarity. And also you can also be able to share a tweet. That we have a more like a template that you can use, which is also on our website, the amnesty.org.za website, under the Right for Rights campaign. And you should be able to find those various actions that you can take in terms of seeking justice for Fikile Njangase. And you can also you can write a letter also to the police minister. So basically what you can find on that particular site, our website, you can find the toolkit as to what actions you can take. And if I can just briefly speak about some of the campaign's achievements, and some of you might know, as Luande would also know, around the issue of Poppy and Bongega. So the case which we campaigned on, as an Amnesty International campaigned on, in 2020, seeking justice for the two ladies who were killed in 2017, was closed by the police. And once Amnesty campaigned and about 300,000 people took action under the Right for Rights campaign, we managed to get the police to reopen the case. And by late 2021, they handed over the case to the NPA. And as we speak currently, the NPA is claiming to prioritize the case. We as Amnesty International South Africa, we are continuing with the advocacy work around that to pressure the NPA to seek justice for Poppy and Bongega. So the reason why I'm mentioning that particular case, that shows you that taking such action, writing a letter to the police minister, putting pressure on them, sharing the tweet that is there on the website, with the minister would also help in terms of putting pressure on them, and certain steps can help improve the situation and try and get justice for Fikile and her family. Thanks, Rejoice.
Thank you so much, Spoo. I think we have a lot to celebrate this year. We've done a lot of work as chapters, as AYISA. You know, we have a lot that we should really be grateful for. And yeah, I think as Boo has said, we've achieved a lot of impact in our Right for Rights work. And as you know, Right for Rights is continuing at the moment. You know, the campaign is still running. So if you want to take action, please just make sure that you're able to take action. And you do take action on social media or offline. We're more than happy to provide you with the support. A lot of you have already started asking for, material to support your different events that you'll be having around Right for Rights, and that is all really appreciated. So thank you so much for all of your hard work this year. And yeah, we look forward to another year, amazing year, going into next year. But before we go into what we're going to be doing next year, I'm going to ask Boo, could you please just stop sharing for a while? And I'm going to ask people to please switch on their cameras. This is one of those moments where I said I would ask you to please just put on your cameras, because I think this moment or this section that we're about to go into is really just, you know, worth us celebrating, having our faces out there and celebrating with one another as we head into the award ceremony. So I'll give you a few seconds to please just put on your cameras, and yeah, we want to see your faces. And as we celebrate with everybody else, you know, people want to see those smiles, because I think with Zoom, you know, now that, you know, we've become so accustomed to seeing people's names on, we can't really see if people are really happy for you. Hey, you might be doing something, you can't really tell, like, are they happy, or, you know, am I doing well? Sometimes we need a little bit of that, you know, like that human interaction to see that, oh my gosh, yeah, I think what I'm doing is not only impacting myself or my community, but other people are also, you know, really excited about the work that I'm doing. So yeah, that's why I'm asking. Sorry to put some of you on the spot. I know a few of you have just joined or still joining, and it's early in the morning. So yeah, thank you for putting up your cameras. I think while people are still putting on their cameras, and I'm going to ask you to please put on your cameras, guys. Would really, really appreciate it, because we need to, as we celebrate. And the Val team, hey guys. Yeah, no, this is really great. But Samson there and the guy, thank you for staying on. Alwanda, I'm going to ask that you please get ready to take us to the next session as we celebrate the work that has been done this year. So we are going to like I said, at some point we will take a group picture, but I see a lot of people still have their, what do you call it, cameras off. But hopefully in the session where we are taking a group photo, a lot more people have their cameras on. So I'll just pass it over to you, Alwande, to just basically take us into the award ceremony, the different categories that we have, and who the winners are. So over to you, Alwande. Thanks.
Perfect. Thanks, Rejoice. Yes, some of the best moments, one of the best moments of the whole assembly, just a cool recognition of all the awesome work that was done. Thank you to the team for selecting awesome people. So I'm just going to present 4 awards this morning, I would say this afternoon, but as we all know, you have all been amazing this year and everyone is definitely a winner. So the first award I'm going to present is the Best Climate Justice Initiative. Second one is the Best Gender-Based Violence Initiative, the Best GBV Initiative, and then 2 Activists of the Year. 1 Activist of the Year and 1 Youth Activist of the Year. And then I'll hand it over to Rejoice, who will do a couple of important highlights for us. So the first one, the Best Climate Justice Initiative of the Year, was Amnesty International Val Savannah City for the Picture Chats and the Human Rights Education Workshop. Congrats, that was an awesome couple of initiatives there. And it was really, really cool to see and hear about them online. You'll be getting a couple of certificates, some cool Amnesty decked out merch, and a really awesome, important Youth for Youth feature. So congrats and well done to ALVAL Savannah City. Then the Best Gender-Based Violence Initiative, the winner is ALVAL Everton for Ikasi to Kasi dialogue, and that was also such an important initiative, and I remember speaking about it last year and seeing it come to fruition. It was really, really awesome. So congrats, ALVAL, you guys nailed this year, so well done. You'll be getting the same thing, so some certificates of recognitions, a couple of out merch, and a Youth for Youth feature. Congrats to ALVAL for those 2 initiatives. Then the Activist of the Year, Samson Mabuza, is a passionate and committed leader and human rights educator who is the current ALVAL Everton chapter's chairperson. Samson has definitely been activated and recruited hundreds of young people within the local municipality, and also he's recruited these people to join and attend initiatives led by ALVAL on gender-based violence, the right to water, and early pregnancy, to name a few. Samson's loyalty and commitment to building the Ayisa movement in his community is 1000% commendable, and we definitely look forward to the future projects that are led by Samson and the awesome ALVAL team. Congrats, Samson. And you are going to also get some awesome prizes on your way. A definitely well-deserved Activist of the Year. The Youth Activist of the Year, Tara Buell, for her passion and her hard work as a AL UCT 2020 and 2021 chairperson. Tara's commitment has been consistent since she took over as chair and was able to mobilize and reactivate the University of Cape Town constituency for human rights action. We recognize and celebrate Tara and wish her all the best as she moves on from UCT. Congrats, everyone. Definitely well-deserved awards. And you guys nailed this year. Well done. Thank you. Rejoice will do some important highlights.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Alwande, for that great session. Can we just unmute and give everybody a round of applause, please, for all the hard work that they have put in this year. Congratulations, everyone. Thank you. Yes, please, let's clap for everyone. Yes. And what we've done before I go into the highlights is that we are actually realizing that community chapters should be on, their own, right? The reason why the community chapters have been able to do so well this is because they've had a lot of capacity, they've had a lot of time, and it's different with some university chapters because you guys have other priorities that you have to kind of prioritize, and this has not been your main thing, right? So university chapters as of next year will have their own section. They will have their own campaigns, which I'll speak to now, and community chapters will also have their own. And then when we give away prizes, there will be prizes for university chapters and prizes for community chapters. So congratulations to all of you. And yeah, please continue that activism spirit. And I wanted to make a few highlights, right? In addition to the winners that we've had, if you could just go back, briefly, so thank you. Here, I wanted to recognize the inter-high schools debates that you guys have been having. I know UJ and WITS have had inter-high schools debates, which were really great, well attended, and they facilitated some really important human rights conversations. So well done to you guys for that, because one, I know it wasn't easy mobilizing the schools to be in touch or to participate in these initiatives, and you did really well. So well done. Please let's also celebrate the WITS and UJ chapters for their work and being able to mobilize those schools. And what they've done actually is really great, because it gives AISA now a footing in terms of now next year going into schools and establishing human rights education clubs. So well done to you guys. I also wanted to highlight the WITS Worth Bleeding For campaign. A few of you might know about this if you've been with Amnesty for some time. Some of you might be new to this, but the WITS chapter, the exec that said in 2017, started a campaign in 2015, 2016 that was called #WorthBleedingFor. And Alonde, I think maybe it might be at the time that you were still at WITS, but that campaign started and it sparked a movement on campus where a lot of people now were talking about menstrual hygiene and the fact that, sanitary products should be free or provided free at universities. And this year, remember, this campaign started in 2015, 2016, which, a lot of us would have forgotten about or left, right? But now in November this year, WITS actually committed to giving free pads or sanitary products to every student that is at WITS. So that's really great work that was started by the Worth Bleeding For campaign. I'm not going to say credit just goes to them. There were a lot of other moving parts, but we really want to celebrate AI Vets for the work that they've put in, because this is impact. This is when we talk about impact, doesn't really matter how long it takes. These are those kinds of stories that we need to share to show that we actually are having impact and our work means something. So to those of you that will be starting campaigns next year, please don't give up. Even if it takes 10 years, doesn't mean it won't happen. This is a proof, proof that things can change as things progress and you get more political will from these organizations that we're targeting. So congratulations to AI Vets on that. The third thing that I wanted to highlight, which is a pilot that AISA is currently working on, is called the Digital Disruptors Project. I'm sure some of you might have seen it online. This is a group of digital activists from Orange Farm and Alex with a vision to disrupt gender-based violence in their communities. And they're going to be using this using social media. I know a lot of you are thinking, how are they going to be using social media? So they're coming together as a group, a collective, and they want to use the power of social media to mobilize people online to find solutions to tackling the GBV crisis in their different communities. So this is a pilot that we're currently working on. And as you're seeing, some of you are seeing that Alicia, who is the activism coordinator for mobilizing, is not here. She's currently working on this project with the activists. So yeah, we wish them all the best. And if you guys also want to contribute to the campaign in some way, please do so. And also follow them on social media. They are very active and they will really be brainstorming and seeing, what else can we do with social media. So these are the highlights for the year. Thank you so much for all of your hard work. We really appreciate it. Now we go into the exciting part where we look at what we're going to be doing next year. And we should be brief. We're almost done with our session. So Sbu, yeah. Yes, so as you know, I'm just going to briefly speak to this and then I'll pass over to Sbu. As you know, how we've split our work as activists is that You would do 80% work, that is the national office's priorities, and then you have 20% where you can do other work that is a priority for you and your constituency at your chapter, right? So even within the national movement, we also have a similar approach, and the priority pillars here going into next year for AISA are going to be freedom of expression and civil space, where we'll be strengthening the freedom of expression and association, securing the right to peaceful protest for all. This forms part of our 80% work as AISA and the global movement. And then there is another point there is equality and non-discrimination, where we're promoting gender intersectional justice, strengthening rights to health, housing, and social security, as well as protecting rights of refugees, migrants, and people on the front line of crises. So these are the priorities for the global movement. There are areas of flexible work that we can do, and Sbu is going to be talking mostly to that. And the reason why I wanted to share this is because I know the way that we've worked, right? I would put out a survey and you let me know what your interests are, what you think, you know, is relevant to your constituency, what topics we should be tackling, and those have been incorporated into how we'll be framing our work going into next year. If you could please go on to the next slide, Sbu. So how we have prioritized is that we looked at the severity of human rights violations in South Africa, and we also, basically are looking ahead and seeing what do we think is going to be relevant, you know, in the coming years. We know that, you know, elections are going to be coming up in not so long, national elections. So these are things, you know, that we need to think about. Can AISA influence change in this space? This is how we think, you know, when we want to, or we want to prioritizing different campaigns. Will there be a positive human rights impact, and what is our added value? What can we do in these different spaces? And also, would there be opportunities for growth, movement building, and financial security? So this is our thinking when we think about what campaigns or activities or human rights topics we'll be taking on. And Sbu will just take you through the different topics that we'll be working on, and hopefully we'll still have some of you there to basically collaborate with going into 2023. Sbu, over to you.
Thanks, Rejoice. Not sure what's really happening, but I'm gonna try and just run through it. Good. So this is just a brief outline of things that we will be doing and things in particular. Because if I were to share that we're working on, so these are just a few outline type of items that we and as you have so that in those cases, because if you're looking at the police in those cases, you find that they don't investigate cases that are related to GDP. That also goes back to the story of that we had for the right for rights campaign last year, as in 2020. So that shows you in terms of the problems that are facing the justice system. And so going forward, what we're trying to do as Amnesty International is what we are in relation to the issue of the DNA backlog. That's what we've done this year.
Sorry, Sbu, I don't think we can hear you. Sorry, I hope it's not something from my side.
Can you guys hear me?
It's very fuzzy. The sound is very disrupted.
Yeah, it's the same for me, and I see a couple. That they're having similar issues.
I'm not sure what's the issue. Can you hear it now?
Can you all hear me, everyone?
Yes,
I can.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think Sbu is just having some technical issues. So I will just see if I can share the screen. Maybe also let's give him a minute or so to basically get reconnected. Yeah, because I don't know, like some people still have load shedding. So I think these are things that we kind of still need to be mindful of as we're having these kinds of events. But let me, share the screen, and then hopefully he'll reconnect and then we can continue soon. Thanks. Okay, I see Sbu is coming back. Sbu, can you hear us? I think he's still joining. Just a quick question. How much of the presentation were you able to hear? Did you hear the GBV part?
Nope, nothing.
Nothing. Okay. Sbu, can you hear us? Sbu? And can you all see my screen? Okay. Sbu, it's still not great, hey? I don't know if it's just on my side. Everyone else, can you hear Sbu?
No, it's still difficult.
No.
Yeah. And we all have our cameras off. Please just put them off if you have your camera on, just to help with the bandwidth. Sbu, can you hear me?
Rejoice?
Yes, it's much better. I can hear you now, Sbu. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm not sure as to how far. Let me see.
People were saying that they didn't hear GBV, so I think maybe starting at GBV again, yeah, would be great.
Okay, thanks. So what I was saying, BDS,
Yes, yeah, sorry, it's still bad. I think when you started speaking the first time when you said my name, I could hear you clearly. But now, as you're continuing on, we can't. Yeah.
Let me try and change my network.
Okay, cool. I think while Sbu is changing his network, I will just, maybe I can speak briefly to GBV and then yeah, he can come in onto the other topics as soon as his connection is sorted. So I think just to kind of sum it up, GBV will also be a priority area going into 2023. Can you all still hear me? My network is saying that my connection is unstable here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, you can. Okay, great. So we're building on the GBV work that we've done. This year, we're focusing on broken promises by the government. You know, we started earlier on in 2020, 2021, where we were looking at interrupting the cycle of GBV. We looked at broken promises, and now we are going into the criminal justice system. So the focus will be how to navigate the criminal justice system, police accountability, and early pregnancy. So our focus really is going to be around that and building on the work. You've heard community chapters saying that early pregnancy has been very popular. And the link, when Samson was making that example, was, you know, a lot of people were saying GBV is one of the root causes for early pregnancy because of the socioeconomic conditions that people find themselves in. So we'll be building on that work in 2023. There will be a lot of human rights education, online and offline learning modules will be developed, and we'll be facilitating workshops in different communities. So if you're interested in hosting one or helping us support or helping us basically spread the message in your community, please let us know. We're more than happy to work with you to do this human rights education in your community. We'll have youth-led campaigning around gender-based violence. We'll also continue with the digital disruptors. The digital disruptors will run between now and around February, March next year. So these are priority focus areas around GBV. But GBV is an ongoing topic, right, until the end of the year. So as we've built on other areas, Bobi and Bongeka, the broken promises, interrupt GBV, you know, it's all linked. It's one big campaign. So next year, this is what the focus area is going to be. Before I move on to climate justice, Sbu, are you back with us? Okay, it looks like Sbu is still not back with us. Please just stop me at any moment if you have any questions. Yeah, I'll be more than happy to answer questions. The second topic that we're looking at is climate justice, where we are powering change, and the focus will be on the just transition and access to water. We have made the link, you know, around water being a human rights issue and water also being a climate justice or climate change issue. So we're continuing to build on that work, making sure that there is education for people that really have not made the link around climate justice. And a lot of the work will be done digitally to mobilize supporters online on the right to water and climate justice, but we still will continue with the offline work as well. So if you're interested in leading offline work around climate justice, please reach out. We'll be more than happy to provide you with support there. The digital disruptors will also be continuing to work there. There'll also be youth-led campaigns on climate justice. The third topic there is access to quality healthcare. This is a topic that we're continuing to do research on, where we're doing a broad analysis of the National Health Insurance bill, and we are going to be focusing a lot on sexual and reproductive health rights, as a lot of you have said that this is a topic that you would like to cover. We've had conversations about abortion, rape, GBV, early pregnancy, that kind of thing. And, you know, when we had our conversation with our chapters this week, we had an activist training, a 2-day activist training. Some of the topics that came up were around sex education. So these are topics that we will be working on in 2023 as well. So if you are interested, please also reach out, and we're more than happy to help you as you establish your year plan for the year, you know, help you incorporate these into your work. The work on the right to quality education is still also ongoing until we meet our objective, guys. The same way that Vits were and not willing to give up on their Worth Bleeding For campaign, and finally they were able to get bids to commit to providing free sanitary towels. We are also on the same thing, with campaigning, you never stop until you meet, your objective. And here we're still calling on the eradication of pit toilets. We have a pit toilet tracker that is on our website, and we'll still continue to partner with other organizations to ensure that this work is brought forward and that the state eradicates all pit toilets in schools in South Africa. Cool. I'll keep checking on Sbu, but I see he's still not here. Yeah, this network really is a problem. And then Right for Rights, or Individuals at Risk. IAR simply stands for Individuals at Risk. With our Right for Rights campaign, we've realized that global solidarity actually still is a big challenge in South Africa, where we struggle to get people to take actions. Let's say, for example, we're working in a community in Soweto, for example. We'll struggle to get people in Soweto to take action for somebody in Congo or in Nigeria or everywhere else in the world, right? Because people are always saying that, these issues, yes, they're relevant, but what about the issues that are affecting us? We also have our own issues. So people want to take more action on local issues. So this is why we are focusing on individuals at risk. And what we've done is that we are incorporating into our global Right for Rights work the national cases that would be relevant to our different constituencies, right? So for example, what would happen is that this is what we've done this year, right? So with Mefikile's case, she is a local case that we've taken on because we know it would be relevant for locals in South Africa, and people are more likely to take action if it's relevant to them. And then we're still encouraging people to take action on global campaigns. But if they're not taking action on global campaigns, at least they have that option to take action on a local campaign. So individuals at risk, really important in mobilizing the global community to stand in solidarity with and demand justice for individuals at risk. Sbu, are you with us?
I rejoice, yes, I'm back.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
But you can continue. You can wrap this one up, perhaps.
Okay, now I'm just done with Right for Rights. Just moving on to the next one. Do you want to do anti-racism?
I think you can continue. That's the final slide. You can just wrap it up. Cool.
Okay, thanks, Sbu. So on anti-racism, this is a topic that we've taken on as a national office, and we will be producing human rights education material on anti-racism because AYISA is building an anti-racist movement, right? And we want to be basically a movement that is in an anti-racist society as well. So the material will be tackling anti-racism within the movement, outside of the movement, anywhere you see it, just basically providing education on how to deal with that in broader society, because we're seeing that race really is a cross-cutting issue throughout our work. So we always are going to be incorporating that and putting on that racism lens when we're tackling campaigns, making sure that we're not being racist ourselves and we're not perpetuating any stereotypes or anything like that, and that we're also thinking about what role racism is playing in different issues. So anti-racism is going to be a very important topic that we are working on as AYISA, and like I said, majority of it is going to be human rights education, both online and offline. So if you'd like to do some work around anti-racism, any ideas around anti-racism that you think would really be good and benefit your constituency, please share them with us, and we'll be happy to work with you on that. Cool. So that's that on the different projects that campaigning topics rather that we'll be working on in 2023. These, like I said earlier, are going to be topics that we would want you as chapters to also prioritize as part of your 80-20 split, where 80% of your work should be made up of these different topics, and the 20% would be made up of any other topics that have not been featured here, but you think would be relevant for your constituency. So please have a think, and as you develop your year plans going into the new year, let us know which topics would really be impactful in your community. So I spoke about growth earlier. The chapters are growing. In 2023, we want to have 15 universities, right? We want to have a presence at 15 universities across South Africa. At the moment, we are sitting on 10, basically, with UFH having a presence in both campuses, like the East London campus as well as the Alice campus, right? So what we're wanting to see at the end of 2023, when we come back and we do this again at the end of the year, we should be sitting at 15 universities. We want to go into Limpopo. We don't have a presence at any university in Limpopo. We don't have a presence anywhere in Mpumalanga, nowhere in what is it, in the Northern Cape. So these are provinces that we want to go in to make sure that we also establish a presence, and we're not going to be able to do that without you. So if any of you are leaving your university chapters and you are wanting to join the alumni network, part of your work would be, going and traveling, going into these different spaces and establishing or helping the groups establish these chapters. So please let us know if you're interested. We would really look forward to working with you and having you support us in this initiative to basically get other universities involved in the amnesty work that we've been doing. And on community chapters, at the moment, we're sitting on 5. I do want to say that here, currently, we have Val in Savannah City and in Everton. We also have Durban. We have the Cape Town community chapter, which has also been facing some issues, but we're working with them to ensure that we resolve them and they're back on their feet. So it's Val, Cape Town, Durban, and we launched Soweto, as I showed you guys earlier. And then we also have another one that will be established now at the end of the year in Mokopane. So they're going to really be working really closely with us, and they'll also, I'm sure, provide support in terms of ensuring that we have access to universities in Limpopo. So we have currently have 5 university chapters that we'll be ending off the year with. At the end of 2023, we want to be sitting at 10, right? And like I said earlier, we will use a structure that is really made up of municipalities, right? So what that means is that if I'm based in Mfuleni local municipality, I'll be the community chapter, or my group will be the community chapter in Mfuleni local municipality. If I'm based in Savannah City local municipality, or in Midval local municipality, the chapter will be basically working with that municipality or in that particular constituency. So we'll be setting up 5 more in different provinces as well. We've had somebody from Durban reach out. We've had somebody from Eastern Cape reach out. So yeah, if you are leaving maybe the university space and you'd like to set up a community chapter yourself, please just reach out to us and we're more than happy to do that with you. The reason why we're structuring it around universities or rather local municipalities is because we want you to start having impact like the way the Val chapter, Savannah City had, right, at the municipal level. So we want you to start engaging with municipal officials, and obviously we'll provide all of the relevant training to ensure that you have everything that you need with your activities there. So that is the projected growth for 2023. On youth-led campaigns, right? I mentioned earlier that we've had our chapters meeting this week, and we discussed 2 youth-led campaigns that all of you will be leading on, right? So first of all, I want to highlight that you will have received an email with the links to the recordings of the meetings that we had this week, as well as with a campaign document, right? One that is already filled in and another one that is empty, right? So you will use the empty one. It's a strategy document called Canva, right? One, I've provided an example around refugee rights, and the second one is empty, where you will input or provide an input of the campaign that you will be working on. So university chapters have said that they would like to work on a campaign around mental health. So I want to urge you to please look at that campaign in Canva document. Make sure that you meet between now and the end of the year, early next year, with your group or your executive for 2023, and think about what that campaign is going to look like for your particular university, right? Fill it in. The submission date is 13th January 2023. My apologies for the typo. I'm still stuck in 2022, but the deadline is 2023. So it's going to be a Friday next year. And we would like for you to please submit that, because once we have those, then at least we have enough time between the submission and the training, right? We're going to have our training either in February or in March. So it would be great to have you submit these documents, these canvas, these strategies before, so we can look at them and consolidate everything and have an idea of what the mental health campaign is going to look like for all universities. So this is a campaign that all university chapters are going to be working on as part of their 20% work, right? Where the other 80% will be made up of the other topics that I mentioned earlier, and any other topics that you're interested in. Right. So that's that on university chapters and the youth-led campaign that will be led by university chapters. Do you guys have any questions so far? Okay, so no questions on that, I'll assume, because I'm not receiving anything. So that's fine. If you have any questions around the mental health campaign as a university chapter, please just reach out to me between now and the end of the year, and I'll be happy to sit with you and your team to help you think about how to fill in that strategy document that I sent. If you haven't received it, please let me know so I can send it to you. Maybe your chapter wasn't present. But yeah, I'll be more than happy to sit with you, work through it so that you have something to submit by the 13th of Jan. The same applies for community chapters. The community chapters met themselves, and lucky enough, the community chapters, all of them were present in that meeting, since it's just the 5 of them. And they decided that they want to have a youth-led campaign on gender-based violence next year. Luckily enough, gender-based violence is a topic that we're covering around that 80%, 20% split. So it'll form part of their 80% work. But that doesn't mean they can't work on any of the other topics. They're more than welcome to do so and come up with any other topics or initiatives that they'd like to work on as part of their 20%. So they also, the request therefore for community chapters for you to fill in that Canva, send it per community chapter, send it by the 13th of January, and then we'll have time to look at it and think about what that campaign is going to look like for community chapters. So those are the youth-led campaigns that we will be working on as university chapters and community chapters in 2023. And we're really excited because we know that these are topics that have affected some of you personally, and they are really important within your constituencies. So thank you so much for this. And we look forward to providing you with support to execute these campaigns going forward. Cool. So now we are almost done with our session for today, but before we kind of go into the next sessions, I wanted to share the slide with you around how you can get involved. So there are different ways that you can get involved, especially for those of you that are leaving your university chapters, right? So the alumni network, like I said, is one way of getting involved. And I will send out a form, an application form between now and the end of the year where you can sign up to be part of the alumni network. The alumni network will meet once a month. And yeah, they will be basically playing an advisory role around how AYISA can improve activism in South Africa. So that will be your role as part of the alumni network. Another way to get involved, we are establishing a debating network, especially those of you that were organizing inter-schools debates, right? They're speaking specifically to UJ and VETS and other chapters that have organized debates. We're establishing a debating network. So if you'd like to be a part of that to help us facilitate human rights education through debating in 2023, a form will also be coming out at the end of between now and the end of the year. Please sign up, and also note that there will be some time, because the debating network is fairly new. What we're going to be doing is that we want you to basically determine what your year is going to look like, right? So I can't tell you now that we'll be having 2 meetings or 3 meetings a month or whatever it is. So once we've gotten a cohort that have registered for the network, then we'll be able to take you on that journey to determine what the year plan for the debating network looks like in 2023. Right? So that's the second thing. That's the second thing. The third thing is the mentorship program. The mentorship program is something that a lot of you have been asking for. And we finally are at a point where we're able to provide mentorship. And this mentorship, not only will it sit with AISA staff, AISA activists, but we can also ask for other people within the movement, right? The global movement, not the South African movement, the global movement, to come in and provide mentorship to those of you that require mentorship. A lot of you want to have careers in activism space or in the human rights space, and you don't know how to go about it. So this will be an opportunity for you to receive that mentorship from experienced professionals around what a career in this kind of space looks like. So this will also start in 2023, and between now and the end of the year, I'll provide more information around next steps on the mentorship program, right? So those are the three new ways that you can get involved. The other ways that you know of still, you know, the around university chapters, community chapters are still there. You can still be active. Another thing that I wanted to mention is membership. Membership is really important. As I mentioned earlier on this year, membership is changing as we go into 2023. Please just give me 1 second. So sorry about that. As I was saying, membership going into 2023 is changing for university chapters, right? As you will have seen when you attended the AGM, if some of you attended the AGM, you saw that we were able to mobilize around 100 to 120 members for AISA, right, to be part of the national AGM. But we want to grow our membership base, right, especially because we're going into becoming a section, and we'll provide more information around that once it has been confirmed, right? What membership is going to look like for university chapters is that the standard fee for all university chapters, signing up fee is 150 per person. Right, I want to repeat that. The standard membership fee for university chapters or people that are part of a university chapter is 150 Rand starting in January. So if you're having a recruitment drive, we're going to print application forms, flyers, and that sort of things for you to hand out to everybody when you have your recruitment drives, when you have your orientation week next year. What's important is for people to know that it's going to be 150, and for them to become a member of your community, of your university chapter, they need to pay 150. What that means is that one, the 100 Rand will register that particular individual onto the national database, so that way they're also a member of the national office. So not only will they be serviced by the chapter at their particular university, but they'll also receive service from the national movement, where they'll also be a member of the national office. And that's how it's going to work. So there'll be that dual membership. The 100 Rand will go to the national office, and I'll work very closely with your membership and growth person to ensure that as you send in your quarterly reports, we also are able to account for the number of members that you have, and also help us register them to the national movement. The 50 Rand remains with the chapter or with the university, so that it can supplement or add to the university's activities and that kind of thing, right? So it'll be 150. You'll receive all the material, the new material that will be printed by the time we get back in January next year, so that as you start recruitment, then, you know, it's all free flowing. Our target for members in the new year in 2023 is 300 new members from all universities and all community chapters. And I think it's doable. You guys have been able to get more than that in the past. So collectively, that's our target, that we get 300 new members from university and community chapters, right? So that is the membership for university chapters. For community chapters, because the community chapters are not governed by any structure, right? Like the university chapters that are governed by the student bodies, the SRC, and all of these other student governance societies on campus. The community chapters just exist on their own. So the membership drives that they will be running will be membership drives for the national office, because there's no other structure outside of the national office that governs the community chapters. So for community chapters, membership still remains at 100 Rand. Right. So what that means is that those 100 Rands will register people to the national movement, right? This is because community chapters are solely funded by the national movement. They're not funded by university chapters like the university chapters. So they're not funded by universities like the university chapters would receive some kind of funding from the university. Like I'll give you an example, UP maybe will have 16,000 that the university is just ready to give them because they are a university group that exists on campus, right? So we'll add those 50 Rands to supplement that amount and then have them run the different activities that they have, as well as give them funds if they need from AISA to run with these programs. So for community chapters, it's different because there is no other fundraising that is happening on your side. You all are receiving your support from the national movement. So what we're saying is that all of those 100 Rands will come to the national office and will register all of the members that you're able to recruit and then be able to provide you with that ongoing support when you need it. So that's the membership structure going into next year. Do you guys have any questions so far? Okay, cool. So I'll assume that we're all on the same page. Please just feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, right? So now is the exciting time that we all have been waiting for. I'm going to ask that we all put up our cameras, please, or put on our cameras so that we can take a photo of everyone that is here. I also want to say that the photos will be published on our socials, the newsletter, the youth newsletter that we have, as well as Lisedi. You know, you would know that we have a quarterly newsletter that AISA shares with everybody every 3 months, yeah. So now it's time for us to take our group photo. I'll patiently just wait for all of you to please put on your cameras. And then, yeah, we will take our picture. I think this way also we're also able to see who is in the meeting, you know, what people look like. Some of us are meeting for the first time, Pella, so we don't really know each other. So it will be good if you could please just put on your cameras and then we will take a group photo. And then after that, yeah, we are concluding our meeting. I think this year we did very well for time, hey? We're doing very, very well for time. Isolomzi, and I'm going to call you out, guys. Sorry, it's just for like a minute. I'm gonna need everyone to please have their cameras on. And just to make you comfortable, what I'll do is for those of you that don't want their faces on the recording, because I did mention earlier that we are recording the entire session, which will be published on our socials as well. So to make you comfortable, please let me know. Duduzile says she's driving. Okay, she can't, okay, she can't put on her camera because she's driving. That's fine, Duduzile, no problem. Taylor, you have 2 things on. Okay. Oh, I see now you've kind of, okay. Removed that. I think Sanders and previous, we're just waiting for the 2 of you. And Solomon, I see you also don't have your camera on. Please just put your camera on so we can just take the picture. And then what I was saying was that I would put, I'm going to stop recording. So that, yeah, those of you that are uncomfortable with being part of the recording, at least have that. Blessing, thank you for joining. We're just putting on our cameras for the group photo. Thank you, Solomon. Previous, and Nigel and Sanders. Previous, Nigel and Sanders, and I see a couple of people have actually sent me messages saying that they've had to drop off because of network issues and all of that. But it's really fine. I'm glad that, you know, those of you that are here were able to stay on for very long. Okay, so I'll assume Previous is unavailable because she's not. Thank you, Sanders, for joining us. Okay, I think this is good enough for us. So I'm going to just take a Okay, sorry, I don't want to take it. It's saying now my connection is unstable. Let me just wait for that. Okay, cool. So new photo. Please smile. Thank you. Maybe one last one. 2022. Okay, one last one. Do you want to make a funny face? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, just hold it right there. One last one. Thank you. This is beautiful, guys. Yo, you look so happy. This is great. This is really great. Okay. Like I said, all of these pictures will be shared on our social media platforms. So please don't feel some type of way if you see yourself ninning on the AISA socials and you're like, what's going on here, you know? So I see Spoo has shared something in the chat. Spoo, do you want to speak to it shortly before we go on to the next session?
Thanks, Rejoice. Yeah, I was just sharing. Thanks, Rejoice. I was just sharing the link to Right for Rights for Fikile Njangase's case.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Spoo. Yeah, so sorry about that. So I'm going to ask, before we drop off, right? I think we are done with our session. I think we were very good for time this year. We budgeted 3 hours, but actually, you know, we needed 2.5 hours. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for being here. Can I just ask each of you that are here, what's the one word that you are kind of leaving this meeting with, right? Like, how are you feeling? Just give us one word that describes how you're feeling as we end off the meeting and we end off the year. So I will start. I am really inspired. That's my word, inspired. Yeah, I'm always really excited. I don't know, like working with young minds, young people always gets me hyped up. So I'm really grateful for all the work that you put in this year. And I want to thank you all for it. And I look forward to the amazing work that we're going to be doing again next year. So my word is inspired. You know? And I'll pass it over to, yes, Lindelani, you volunteered yourself. Please go ahead.
My word is going to be motivated because I saw what the other chapters have been up to. So it gives us ideas to even do something, do more in our chapters to have more activities for next year. So yeah, motivated as my word. Taylor.
Okay. My one word would be excitement. Working towards something that you really love brings excitement, and working with the people that you have a close connection with, a mutual goal, it brings excitement. So my thing would be, let's work. Let's not primarily focus on it without having to put the same effort as not being excited. Do what makes you to be excited, what brings you to be happy, then you'll do it like as an excellently because you won't feel pressured by anything.
Go ahead, Nigel.
All right, one word that I can say is I'm encouraged as an incoming board member. I'm encouraged to work very hard so that this whole vision and mission of the organization can be achieved. After seeing all what other chapters are doing in their society, I think next year I'll work very hard with other of my colleagues so that we can achieve this goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Nigel. Thank you so much. Tara, yes, please go ahead.
Thanks, Joyce. Yeah, I'm feeling very proud to be part of such an amazing organization. Hearing what everyone has accomplished this year is remarkable. I mean, hearing about, you know, the pad drive at WITS and just, you know, everything that VAL chapter has done, just what everyone has accomplished this year and how much work everyone has put in and how it's really paid off. I'm feeling very proud. I'm feeling very proud to be part of this organization.
Thank you so much, Tara. Sanders, would you like to go next? Sanders, can you hear us? Okay, maybe while we wait for Sanders, Blessing, would you like to go next?
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, Blessing.
Yes.
Okay. One word I can say is that I am very happy. I'm happy that there are people out there who are willing to fight for other people's rights, to make others realize their rights, and to be the voice for those who do not have the voice to speak up. So I am very happy that there are other people out there who are like me at Amnesty International.
Thank you, Blessing. Tepo?
Hi, everyone. My word is motivated. Seeing all the great work that has been done from university chapters and community chapters, I'm really motivated and looking forward to the great work we aim to achieve in 2023.
Thank you, Tepo. Thank you so much. And we look forward to working with you. Tepo is starting the Mokopane chapter, by the way. I don't think I'd mentioned. So he'll be starting the community chapter there. Really excited to be doing that work with you, Tepo. Can we go over to Boyka and then we can close off with Alwande and Sbu?
I can't hear Boyka.
Yeah, I also can't hear Boyka. Yeah, it's very faint.
Okay, Lankutla, no.
Yes. Now it's better. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. My name is Boyka. I'm motivated, and I like to say big up to all the activists out there, those who shake the tree until the baboon fall amandla. I would like to say viva to my comrades at Val. Abu Simpson, yeah. I'm motivated and enjoy the holidays, and please be safe. Please be safe. Yeah. From myself, Val president of Quaker. Yeah, the Val president. Yeah. And we are so excited. To be recognized. Amanda, wait. Viva comrades. Viva. Let's continue shaking the tree until the baboon fall. Amanda, wait.
Thank you so much, Boyka. Really great to hear from you. Alwande, and then we close up with Sbu.
I'm feeling definitely charged. I think young people play such a pinnacle role in this movement and the world in general. So yeah, I think we're in good hands. Excited.
Thank you so much, Alwande. Sbu, I'll leave it to you then.
Okay, thanks a lot, Rejoice. And at the risk of behaving like some of our world leaders in terms of not following the rules. I unfortunately do not have one word, but I have several words that includes being inspired, motivated, proud, impressed, because as some of you have, this is, as you would know, I do not necessarily interact with you on a daily basis. You mainly interact with Rejoice. For some of the work that I see, I'm impressed. I don't know much about what you guys do. I always hear from Rejoice, but to hear it from you guys, it's encouraging. And I must say, the reason why I'm saying I'm encouraged is because I see the future is bright. There are people who are ready to take on the system and its inequalities, as well as its human rights violations and stuff. So thank you. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you so much, Boo. I really appreciate that. And thank you so much, everyone. Yeah, it's been an amazing year. I'm also going away really encouraged. And like Boyka said, if we don't speak between now and the end of the year, please enjoy your holiday. Stay safe. We want to see you again next year. And yeah, thank you for everything. And I think we can end off here. And we will speak again soon, whenever that is. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day. So yeah, have a good rest of your day.
Enjoy the weekend, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone. Bye-bye.